Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Nee Abrahams, and I am going to be your social media instructor for the next 8 weeks. I have been doing this for this is probably my 15th or 16th term, and so I'm really excited to just take the things that I've learned to kind of help apply to this class. You probably are wondering why I'm doing this video. This is actually something I started doing probably my third time because I just realized I am someone who loves being in relationship with people, and I spend a lot of time teaching in the classroom, and I just hate virtually teaching, and so I figured if there's any way I can bridge that gap, I want to do that. So that's why I went ahead and decided to make this video. So you can actually expect a video every single week to kick off the week. It's an opportunity for me to explain what's upcoming, trouble spots that I see, to give a detailed review of the previous week, and also you guys to see my face, because I just really believe that we can be better connected that way. So you guys have no idea who I am, so let me just introduce myself a little bit more. Like I said, my name is Nee. I'm 28 years old. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I moved here about 4 years ago. I've been married for the past year and a half. Currently, I am an assistant director of admissions at a private university in town. A lot of things I do in relation to multicultural recruitment, as well as marketing and social media and communication strategy. Previous to this job, I worked for a branding agency doing digital marketing, social media marketing. I've been a communication and content strategist for a national nonprofit. So I just have a lot of experience in this world. I'm from Missouri. Both my undergrad and my master's are both in communication. So I'm just really passionate about how we use language and words and things like social media to create stories for brands and for people. And so I've done this enough times to know that there are some of you who are taking this class because you're really interested in it. Maybe it fits your major, what you want to do. There's some of you or taking this class because you have to, right? Well, no matter where you are on the journey, I just want to invite you to be a part of this for the next 6 weeks. I'm really excited to really chat about what's upcoming. So one of the things I want to do is I just want to go over a few quick tips just to kind of set us up for this term and as well as the first module. So I'm going to go pretty quickly here. This is going to be the longest video I do. It's going to be about 10 minutes, but hopefully there's some really good information for you. So first and foremost, if you've never taken a class on SNHU, the pace is quick. So I really encourage you to check your email and Brightspace often. I'll usually do about 1 or 2 announcements a week at a minimum. And so it's important for you to check your email and Brightspace often. I recognize that it can be easy to take time off. At 8 weeks, it can feel like a long time, even though by the end of it, you realize it flies by. But I encourage you, stay on top of your work every single week because the pace goes by fast. Second, communicate with me. This is probably my biggest thing. Communicate. Life happens, I understand. These past 3-4 months, we've been dealing with COVID, and I know that's affected a lot of people's lives in a lot of different ways. There's nothing more frustrating to me than is when someone is dealing with something, they don't let me know, and then 2 weeks later ask for an extension or ask for additional help when they could have asked for it a couple weeks prior. I will communicate with you as much and as often as possible. So I make these videos. I reach out to students via email if I see that they're struggling. So I'm going to communicate with you all the time. My announcements are always on the move. So please communicate with me. If something's happened with your job and you need an extension, I'm not saying I'm going to grade every single thing, right? But I do want to know. So many times, a lot of you guys have families and kids or grandkids, or you're traveling or you're moving and things happen. It is so important to let me know so we can work things out together. I want to help you succeed, right? What I don't want is this class to be the class that ruins your class experience at SNHU or anything like that. That's not the goal. But you have to communicate with me. If something's going on, email me, let me know to see if we can work something out to help you. So the next thing, the way this class works is everything leads up to our final project. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be studying 2 different organizations of your choosing. One's going to be what we call social organization, or an organization of your choice that does social media well in any arena, sphere, business organization that you want. Doesn't really matter. It can be a big national brand. It could be a local brand, just a social media, an organization that does social media well. You're going to be using that for your discussion boards. Then you're going to have your final project organization. This is for your milestones and your journals. But basically, you're going to choose a local organization. This is really important. A local organization or business that does not use social media well or at all. And what I don't mean by well is oftentimes people are like, well, they only post like 2-3 times a week. That's not what I mean. I mean, they barely use it. They don't have it. They haven't posted in months. They're inconsistent, things like that. I'm actually going to there's actually another video that I'm going to post after this that has a more detailed explanation of that. But essentially how this class works is everything's going to lead up to the final projects. You're going to have milestone 1, which is the first half of your final project, milestone 2, which is the second half that's due in week 5. And then for your final project, all you're going to do is add a conclusion. So really the way this class works is you're building up to your final paper. And when everything's said and done, all you have to do is combine, take my feedback, put it with a conclusion, and you're good to go. So if you do the things you do early on, you're going to be successful. One of the things I like to tell people about this class is imagine this class is like driver's ed, right? Not if you've ever taken driver's ed, you know that you're supposed to drive at 10 and 2 or 9 and 3, whatever the new regulation is, right? But if we're honest, how many of us actually still drive at 10 and 2 or 9 and 3, right? No one does. So that's what this class is a lot of this class is all about, just following directions and instructions. As an instructor, I have a lot of leeway to add my expertise, but I'm grading based off of a rubric. So it's gonna be really, really important that you use the rubric often. I'm gonna give you as many tools as possible, examples, section title labels. I'm gonna use many examples as possible as I can to help you succeed. But it's really important that you take the initiative to look over your work to make sure you're following the rubric, because that's what I'm using to grade. If you've never taken this class, basically the big thing in terms of engagement is going to be discussions. You'll basically, after every Thursday, you'll have to just put in an initial post, and then by Sunday, you have to respond to 2 other people in your class and their initial posts, not just a reply based off of what someone else wrote to you on your post. As a communication major, I know fluff when I see it. In fact, I remember my first semester, I wrote a paper and our teacher told everyone in the class, no more fluff. So I know fluff, and I know it's super easy when you're applying to peers to be like, wow, that was really great. And then you ask like 3 really vague questions, and then that's it. Well, I really encourage us to go beyond that. It's gonna be really important because I notice and I see that. So every single prompt is going to have a response prompt to your peers. So it's gonna be really important. Every Thursday night, your initial posts are going to be due, and then end of Sunday night is when your responses are due. Like I said, I'll be keeping up with you on that, so pay attention to that. And then finally, as I kind of mentioned before, use the rubric as a guide. I'm going to be giving you as many things as possible to help you succeed on that end. So that's just kind of some quick tips I think are really helpful for this class. Now, just diving into Module 1. This first week is really just about laying a foundation for the historical perspective of social media, where they come from, why is it relevant today, and just kind of giving us a good foundation for whether you're new, if you've been doing in this field for a while, or this is new to you, whatever the case may be. This is a really good foundational start. So 2 things are actually going to be due. First is your 1-1 discussion. So this week's the only week we have 2 discussions. 1-1 is going to be like your main discussion, where that's going to talk about yourself, and then a couple other questions that you'll need to ask. At the end of that, you'll be asked again to provide your social organization, the organization you'll be following for your discussion boards. You'll need to make sure you include that. That is the discussion that you'll actually reply to other people. Then you have your 1-2 discussion as the second assignment for the week. This is where you'll be telling me what your final project organization can be. It can be maybe the local restaurant by where you live that doesn't have social media. Maybe it's your own business that you haven't done well on, or a business you want to start, or maybe a family business. Maybe it's a local nonprofit that you really care about that doesn't use social media. It may be hard, so I encourage you to do some digging and do some research, but it needs to be local, not a national brand. Even if the national brand doesn't have social media, it needs to be local because it's easier for you to identify audience and things like that. So that 1-2 discussion is going to be also due on Thursday. But you are going to have, you're not going to have to reply to other people. That's just for me. I'm going to approve that to make sure you're on the right track, because I think it's important that I look at it to know that you're on the right track. Otherwise, you're going to end up halfway through the semester, which has happened, halfway through the semester doing an organization that's not going to work out in the end. That final project, the 1 and 1-2 that you're going to be giving me, that's going to be what you're going to be using for your milestones and your journals. So that's essentially what Module 1 looks like. Again, look at the module. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. As I mentioned before, I want to be a resource for you. I love this class. I love teaching this class. I think it's really great. If you have any questions at all, communicate. Otherwise, I cannot wait to go on this journey with you, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, guys.